Heughan criticizes Caitriona Balfe not to cross the line, he wants his own space. At a posh hotel in central London, the premiere of a new film, Echoes of the Highlands, was about to begin. Heughan, with his pure blonde hair, classic black suit, and elegant outfit, was standing in the main actor's lounge. He looked in the mirror, adjusted his tie, and breathed lightly, but his eyes were a little nervous. Caitriona Balfe, his co-star, wore a wine-colored dress, her hair pulled back in a low bun, and a slight gleam of metal accessories. Press flashbulbs were beginning to flash through the glass door. She smiled at her assistant, said a few small words, and then looked at Sam. In recent months, rumors had begun to spread that they were closer than just colleagues. Fans had theories, the press had questions, and paparazzi were following every move. Sam had tried to avoid the cameras, to avoid interviews about his personal life, but the pressure was growing. And the line between work and personal life was beginning to blur, touching the limit. One sleepless nights, Sam lay in his hotel room, the street lights shining through the curtains. He couldn't sleep. In his head were, "Nice to see you," messages, inquiries on social media, emails from fans asking, "Are you more than your co-stars?" Every time the phone rang, it could be an interview, it could be a fan's greeting, he felt his heart beat faster, wanting to maintain his privacy, but not sure he could continue like this. Caitriona, meanwhile, also felt the pressure. She often wanted to share a behind-the-scenes photo, a light status about work, or sometimes about personal feelings. But later, after a few statuses were judged by the light as too intimate, and commented on too much, she became more timid. 2. Hidden clashes. On set, during a night shoot, Sam and Caitriona had to act out an emotional scene, hugs, intimate gestures, emotional lines. The director shouted, "Good take. Excellent chemistry." Everyone applauded. Later, during a break, Caitriona approached Sam. "Sam, I think we should take a photo together, for the fans, because they expect it." Sam hesitated, his eyes slightly uncomfortable. "Caitriona, I know you're very important to the fans, but you don't want everyone to know everything. There are things you want to keep private." Caitriona raised her eyebrows slightly. "Private, but I think, just a photo. I just want to share beautiful moments with my supporters." Sam was silent. He looked into the distance, the lights, the camera, the extras. He wanted to continue, but his words were stuck. Finally he said, "I understand. But trust me, sharing too much can sometimes complicate things. There are boundaries I want to maintain." Caitriona was a little disappointed, but she nodded. They didn't argue, just a heavy silence between them. Flashpoint. 1. The stirring dinner. One evening after a promotional photoshoot, the entire cast and crew were invited to dinner at a fancy French restaurant near the Thames. The setting was sparkling, candlelight, and soft music. Sam sat across from Caitriona. There were a few acquaintances at the table, and reporters who had been invited but not publicly. Caitriona held a glass of red wine and said, "Do you want me to not post the photos tonight on Instagram?" Sam sipped his water, leaning slightly. I think it's better not. There are photos that, if taken from a certain angle, will look different. I know you want to avoid misunderstandings." Caitriona looked at him, "But I think if I clearly tell everyone that we are just colleagues, close friends, it will be fine." Sam shook his head slightly. "The problem is not what I say. The problem is how others see it. Sometimes I post a small moment, but the press will make a big deal out of it, fans will think for themselves, and then rumors will develop. I don't want those things to affect my work, my mood, my loved ones." Caitriona was silent. The evening continued. Laughter, congratulations, the sound of glasses clinking. But in her eyes, there was a bit of sadness, and Sam, a bit of fatigue. 2. Unwanted rumors. The next morning, an entertainment magazine published photos from the previous evening, photos of Caitriona and Sam chatting side by side, with sparkling lights in the background. The headline read, "Sweeter or better than your co-star." Caitriona saw the photos and her face changed. Sam called her. "I've seen the photos," Caitriona said, "they're just friends laughing." "I didn't do anything else." Sam sighed. "I understand, but this. I know, it's not my fault, but I feel like I'm being weighed down, being scrutinized from all sides." Caitriona softened. "Sam, do you want me to delete the photos?" Sam shook his head. "No need to delete them. Just don't post those intimate photos anymore. Don't give people the opportunity to speculate." Caitriona was silent. On her phone, she opened Instagram, looked at the photos, and felt a little pain in her heart. She thought to herself, why does the desire to share a little joy become a burden? Sam's mind. Sam Heughan is a man who has been famous for many years, used to the spotlight, to the role of Jamie Fraser, a strong, emotional person, but also with a deep privacy. He has free days where he just wants to read, go for a walk, sit by the chest of a Scottish forest or look at a lake. No one asks, no one takes pictures. He loves acting, loves being able to play a role in telling the story, but he also knows that the off-screen Sam needs to be preserved. Quiet moments are precious. There are mornings when he sits on the porch, drinking tea, breathing in the early morning air, watching the soft sunlight through the leaves. He wants that moment to be his own. No camera sounds, no commentary, no flash. He remembers when he was little, before he was famous, his parents told him that privacy was a great gift. And in his heart, he still holds that image, a part of himself he doesn't want to lose. The decisive conversation. On a rainy afternoon in London, after the shoot ended late, the sunset was tinged with mist, Sam and Caitriona returned to the hotel. Both were tired, both had something to say. Before getting into the elevator, Sam stopped Caitriona. "Caitriona, we need to talk for a bit." "Yes," she looked at him, a little worried. They entered the hotel room. Sam closed the door, drew the curtains, creating a quiet space. "I know you don't mean anything bad by sharing your feelings, by wanting to share your images with your fans. You've always been a great colleague, a trustworthy friend. But there are things, for me, that are limits that I don't want to cross." Caitriona looked at him, eyes open, waiting. "When I post photos, I just tell my friends, share my joy. I think I do a good thing. But there are intimate photos, there are comments from fans, there are reporters talking. All of it becomes a story that I don't want to be involved in. I feel like I'm too exposed. Not only that," he continued, his voice trembling slightly. This was the first time he had spoken so directly. "I want to have my own space. Not just when I'm acting, not just when I'm in public. I want moments that no one knows, no one is watching, no one is taking pictures. I want to be Sam, not always, actor Sam, co-star Sam, fan Sam." Caitriona listened to him, silent for a moment. She wondered, when did I cross the line? Maybe I was too eager to be intimate in public, wanted you and I to be seen as a couple, forgot that you have the same right to privacy as I do. Sam emphasized, "Please understand me. When you posted the photo last night, when you let people guess that we had a potential relationship, you know I didn't deny it publicly, but I didn't confirm it either. It made me feel forced into a mold, expected to say something, to do something to reassure others. I don't want that. Caitriona's eyes reddened, not from anger, but from the truth in her words. She looked at Sam. You want me to stop doing this? Sam shook his head. I don't want to say that you can't share at all. You can share your work, share your feelings, share things you're comfortable with. But don't share private moments, or photos that could be misinterpreted. Keep those parts just for you and me, or for family and friends who really understand. Caitriona looked down for a moment, then looked up. I will follow whatever boundaries you want us to set. I will try to understand you better. Sam sighed softly, his shoulders relaxing. Thank you. I know this is not easy. You also have feelings, expectations, desires. But we can make each other more comfortable if we have clear boundaries. They stood still for a moment, listening to the rain outside the window, listening to the sound of cars passing by on the street. Caitriona put her hand on Sam's shoulder, gently. I'm sorry if I made you feel pressured. I just want us to be understood, to be supported. But I also accept that there are things we have to keep private. Sam smiled vaguely. No loud words, no tears, just silent understanding. They knew that the road ahead would require delicacy, patience.